Unfortunately, I'm not holding out very much faith for today's race after seeing the gaps in practice already. Likely only get bigger in qualifying. So again, I'm not holding out very much faith that today's race will go very well, but we'll see what we get out of it. In the live racers list for overall practice times, I wasn't all that far off. It seems like I'm much further off here. Oddly enough, I'm one of the fastest GTE cars in a straight line. It seems like I've inadvertently sacrificed stability everywhere else without really realizing it. I'm gonna try knocking some downforce up here real quick and see what it changes, but again, I'm basically out of time. Got 3 minutes and then qualifying. 10 minutes. Just always odd to me when more downforce works better around a track like this that has so many long straights. Not only long straights, but long straights followed by slow corners. Usually when you have a long straight followed by a slow corner, you just take a bunch of downforce off because you don't need the downforce in the middle of the corner. Car does feel better this way so far. Might just leave more downforce on it. We'll see this time through if I'm actually faster or not. It's also worth noting that I still hate this softest tire. Doesn't seem to like me much either. I feel like we're missing quite a few people. At least among all of those who qualified. Wow, I actually went faster in that first sector. I guess the time you gain in the first, second, and third corners makes up for the time you lose down the straight. I mean, that immediately made me faster, so I think it's going to be worth doing this. We'll do the same here. Just make it that bit safer everywhere, I guess. Because that at least gets me up here battling with some of these guys. Whereas before I was nowhere near that. Alright, here we go for qualifying. Always the line at the end of the pit exit. I love all the people bothering to say leaving pits there. It's like, of course, everybody's leaving pits right at the start. Just seems silly to say it at that point. At some point during this outlap, I'm gonna give myself a gap. Unless I can just pass him, then we have our gap. The guy in front. Now we don't need to make one. We already have one. Just keep on it, keep everything nice and hot, and go for it. Alright, here we go, our first hot lap. Now my hope is to get back in the 38s at least. We'll see if that happens or not. I'm not used to the amount of downforce I have on the back, so probably won't be using it all too efficiently for a couple of laps. Hey Bjorn, thank you. It's just qualifying for now. It'll be really interesting to see how this race goes. The most interesting thing will be the penalties afterwards. If the penalties are like the first two rounds have been, then I probably won't bother continuing with the CMS guys. Because they were just ridiculously aggressive and rude about a lot of the penalties the first couple rounds. So like I said, we'll see if that continues or not. Unfortunately, there's only like 2 or 3 guys in here with similar pace to me. Most of them are much faster. It's a little bit harder for me to find good battles on track. Next to last corner is so tough.
That was a 1:39
isn't good enough.
2:6.
I can definitely stay flat there. Unfortunately, that gravel just takes all of your speed away. worst part is my eyes are already starting to go. On the bright side, I get 15 minutes at the end of this session to sort of rest them. It's split qualifying between the GTEs and the LMPs. I guess I can just stay in fourth for that. I also had to crank on quite a bit more downforce to get into the 38s. Alright. Let's see what this hot lap can bring.
That was a 1:44.37.
Regardless of how this hot lap goes, the next lap we're bringing it into the pits because I need to practice that. We can sort of reset at that point anyway. Wide into the braking zone. Not ideal. Try staying in fifth here. I think with the downforce I can definitely make it work. Yeah. The odd thing with the extra, I mean it's 4 extra clicks of rear wing and 1 extra click of front wing, so it's a front splitter. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it ends up actually making quite a noticeable difference. I mean, even corners like that, I can take it fourth now instead of third. It definitely ends up being a very sizable difference. That corner ends up being so important. And that felt like a good lap. That was a very good lap. Holy cow. I'm pretty positive that's my fastest lap that I've done here. I was actually just trying to take it nice and smooth, and I made some mistakes on it, so that's good for me. Extra downforce definitely paid off. We're still up by 2/10 or more after the second sector. Then we'll finish the lap. I was just gonna come in and reset, but it seems like I finally found a bit of a rhythm here. Hey, monkey. That was a really slow entry. It's a bit shallower of an entry there than I'd like. Still up, so we'll finish this hot lap. If I can get into 37s, that's really good for me. The car actually feels really stable most places right now, which is very nice. Oh, I lost so much time in that last sector. Got in the 37s, but that could have been like a 37.7. But I just kept the amount of time I had in that first and second sectors. Right side, there's no way this lap will be faster now. Basically, I just want to make sure he gets a nice clean entry into that corner. Again, this time we're going to pull it into the pits because I need to know where my pit is. And I haven't done any pit practice at all. Well, I've done very little pit entry practice here. We need to do that practice at speed if possible, so I'm going to try and enter those corners at racing speed. It's such an odd pit entry also. On the bright side, we're also learning some places not to do things. I completely wrecked my tires. Alright, I'm not the first pit stall this time, that's good. Last time I was the first pit stall and it was horrible. Since it's qualifying, we're not actually going to sit there in the pits, but... I mean, I'm 5th right now. That's literally 3 spots higher than I thought I'd be. I thought I'd be down here. Now, I probably don't have that equivalent race pace. I mean, we'll see, but I don't think I do. Alright, now, we'll go ahead and get used to our race setup again. Because I haven't felt the race setup with the rear toe and downforce changes yet. It'll definitely be worth doing at least one hot lap, feeling these changes out. So far the plan is to go ahead and take one set of tires when I pit around when there's about 43 to 44 minutes left. Is when I likely will pit. I have to pit when there's at least 44:59 or less on the timer. If I pit before that, then it's just not going to work. It's so odd to me. It feels like I have almost exactly the same grip on these medium tires with full fuel as I do on almost no fuel with the these super soft. I'm still going back and forth on if I really should be qualifying on the super soft or just the soft. The super soft really doesn't feel like much of a super soft. Like, it really just feels like a throwaway tire, almost like a practice tire or something. I almost feel like I should be qualifying on the soft instead. That's exactly one of the reasons I wanted to get some practice in with full fuel. Because with low fuel and those super softs, that's flat out, easily flat out. Although again, with my eyes already starting to screw up on me, it gets real hard to spot that entry. Real quick, unfortunately. I really wish there were just more night races. In night races, my eyes are fine, because everything's dark enough that it doesn't matter. Can't remember if there's a warm-up or not. I want to try and practice pitting at speed this time since there's nobody in the way. It seems like that's about the latest point in the lap I can actually call a pit stop. All right. Not sure what that prototype was doing. I mean, I guess he was trying to get ready and come in, but... Pit entry is actually pretty difficult. I think it's going to be easier if I try and enter the pits at like 82 kilometers an hour instead of trying to accelerate back up as I go across that little space. That looked bad. Disappointing how many of the prototype drivers don't have skins. Alright, now I have to try and get some eye rest in while I have time. I think I might just try turning the brightness down on these a little bit more still. Actually, let me see what the blue light is at. Yeah, it's still at minus 50. I guess that brightness setting isn't actually what I thought it was. So I just set it to 0 and it's still quite bright. I'm just going to set it to 0 for both of these. I'm not sure what that brightness is. Like, is it just extra over brightening from the rear lit LED? Because I'm just one of those type of people that I assume 0 brightness would be the backlight off, 100 brightness would be the backlight full. But considering I have it at 0, and it's still very, very visible, but obviously doesn't do what I expect, so I guess that brightness setting is literally just extra brightness. Which also doesn't make very much sense as a thing. Like, why is that a thing? I've actually never messed with very many of these settings. I probably should have, considering what they are. I just messed with the sharpness one and it looks much nicer now also. I just have to make sure both of them are the same. It's awkward if One of them looks different than the other. Oop. Oop, nope. Back. Down, down, in, down. Hey, Brussels. Sorry, I know you're getting a load of ARM there, because I'm messing with the monitor stuff. I'm not racing the LMP ones, I'm actually in the GTEs. But the LMP ones are qualifying right now. They have 10 minutes left. So I am, with the GTEs, I qualified 5th, which surprised myself, even by quite a bit. This is CMS Racing. I've raced with them once, and that was at Silverstone. That was the one that had that was the pre-race event or pre-season event that afterwards I would have gotten a no qualifying drive-through penalty thing for. And then I missed last week, or sorry, 2 weeks ago at Daytona, because I completely screwed up the time that it was. But then again, similar to what I said after that Silverstone test event, this is sort of a test event for me also, where if the penalties are the same, are delivered in the same tone and the same way as they have been in the past, in the first event and in the preseason event, then I probably won't stick with CMS. But if that changes, then I might stick with them. And yes, it's just the LMP2 and the GTEs. It's the only series I know that they do that's multi-class, but yeah. Like I said, it's what I see as overreaction on a lot of the penalties, but more importantly, it's the tone with which they talk about them. Like, twice now, there's been, like with the penalty I would have gotten if it had not been a preseason test event, it literally said something along the lines of, and then, like, I made contact with somebody, which first of all, I didn't. I almost made contact with somebody. Then the wording that they put on there was inexplicably drove towards the apex, which is not true. If you look at the onboard, it's very obvious I lost control of the rear and was trying to steer left and keep it away from everybody else. So that wording really annoyed me. Then on other people's, the wording was the same, and then on Daytona, the wording was the same as well. One other person, the wording on theirs was like, went wide, came back on, then comma, inexplicably, comma, did this. Like, it's a bunch of words that don't need to be there, that basically imply the people handing out penalties are assholes. And that's the attitude that I don't like. If you're just handing out penalties, then hand out penalties, but don't be an a-hole in your comments on them like that. Like, again, dove towards the apex doesn't need to be on there. Because one, that's not what happened, and two, you don't need to say that. If people want to, they can view the replay. And then the other one, when you do, comma, inexplicably, like, that's just, it's douchey. That's really the word that describes it best. Like I said, if that tone continues alone, I probably won't bother. I mean, I already can't be on TeamSpeak with these guys, because the first Indy event and then the preseason event, there was a lot of borderline racist stuff being said. Again, it's a shame, because on track it seems like it's mostly okay. But we'll see. Like I said, if that trend continues, I'll just dump them, because Revs has been nothing but great. Like, Revs, I'm really glad that I'm really glad Brussels, I'm really glad you pointed me towards them, because they, if this had been my first introduction to league racing, I would have just thought this was normal. But having seen Revs, how they operate things, how they're serious but they still have fun, they set things up correctly, they have their time. Like, it's one of those things so many people get wrong, where they either take it way too seriously or don't take it serious enough. Like, there's a really nice balance that you can find between having fun, having a joyous time, because you're on a game racing, you're having some fun, but still also having that serious aspect to it, of being like, okay, when the race starts, don't talk on TeamSpeak unless you need to. Make sure you respect that other people may not be able to talk and race or listen and race. They might need to concentrate a little bit more than you do, or less, or whatnot. But at the same time, before the race and after the race, they'll talk and they'll have a good time as well. And again, that sort of balance is really, realistically, that sort of balance is important. And again, the fact that when I am on their TeamSpeak, I'm not having to constantly mute it because they're saying horrible things. I mean, that's one of the other key things for me. And without sounding douchey myself, that I think the European crowd tends to bring that a bit more, because there's so much more diversity in your face in Europe, because there's not only, I mean, it's like if you took the Midwest of the United States and had every other state speaking a different language and having different facial features and different skin tones. Like, that's effectively what Europe is. It's a tiny little place, tiny, compared to America, obviously, since you could just slap America on all of basically Central Europe. But again, that's sort of why I try to describe it that way. It's like if you take states in the US and make them drastically different from one another, but still that close together. And again, I think that sometimes it breeds anger and hate for silly reasons, but for the most part, it tends to sort of bring about, we're all people, we all just do what we do. So at least in my experience in dealing with European people, that tends to be more the attitude, as opposed to Americans tend to be very xenophobic. And it's... Anyway, that's getting into a whole other discussion. Being 2016 and all politics are always fresh on the minds of Americans right now, because we have our big presidential election at the end of the year. A very important one. That was interesting, he backed up there. Either way, long story short, Revs guys are awesome. Totally glad somebody, don't remember who, introduced me to them. Because again, it's really nice to have an example of how to really run a league efficiently, cleanly, but most importantly with a lot of fun rolled into it. And a lot of understanding rolled into it. So it's a really nice template of what you should look for when you're looking for leagues. By the way, the main reason I'm focusing on John is because if you notice when I go through these other ones, boring red car, boring red car, boring red car, boring red car, in the garage, in the garage. Finally, not a boring red car. So basically, if I want to look at something that isn't a boring red car, I have two choices. I mean, part of the problem with the red cars is URD just doesn't have liveries for these, since they're not technically finished products yet. Alright, 1 minute, so they're all finishing their hot laps now. I'm intrigued to see how this race goes. I'm very intrigued. Oh wait, Martino. Oh right, Martino has one also. Martino Maggiolo and Brian Farmer are both on the same team. So they have very similar liveries. I don't remember if there's a warm-up or not. I hope there is. 'Cause I really want to get out there and race setup. On the bright side, around Magny Cours, there's a couple good spots. There's a couple good 2 or 3 spots where the LMPs have a pretty good passing opportunity on the GTs. There's also a couple spots right there, and then coming up. Basically, the 2 chicanes, it's really tough for the prototypes to get by, so if they get stuck behind you, they're definitely going to be slower there. And then right here coming up, this other chicane. Because in a GT car and in the prototypes, you're using all of the road in both of those spots. But obviously, with the extra downforce, the LMPs can use a heck of a lot. They can use the road more efficiently with their downforce, so they go through that area faster. My eyes seem okay, which is good. About 20 to 30 minutes in, they'll probably go funky again, but they're at least good for now. Good-ish. They're good-ish. They're about as good as I could expect, unfortunately. But again, I did turn the brightness on my monitor down more, and I turned the sharpness down a bit. So it should help. I really like this. I turned the sharpness down from 5 to 3, and it's a lot softer of an image, which, again, is good. Wow. Still super psyched for the whenever Race Room gets their R18 done. I want to hear what those cars are supposed to sound like. Those modern prototypes. Although I guess for LMP2, those actually probably don't sound too different to that. Because LMP2s still use, I think most of them still use naturally aspirated or turbo petrol engines, or gasoline, as we would call it. Gas motor, V8 gas motor. But so yeah, I guess for the LMP2s, it's not too far off. All right, we have race. Yeah, we have a race setup on. Mario Kart. Hey, Mario Kart's a ton of fun, assuming you have a Wii U. Come on, pit lane's open, go. My glasses are off a little bit. I might have to readjust my headphones before we start. Don't stop in the middle of the road. You're gonna stop to the side like that guy did. Ugh. Oh no. Whoa. I do not want to do that in the race. One thing this warm-up is good for is for reminding yourself that your tires and brakes are very cold at the start of a race. Oh, wow. Woo-hoo-hoo. I had to lay in the brake pedal there. Holy cow. That was scary. I think we'll practice our pit entry this time. It's pretty tough around here to get it right. Some say. It's so on edge. Safest thing is to just downshift into that first chicane. But it's so fun to take it in fifth. The one bright spot is if this league ends up not working out for me, then what it actually opens is it opens the opportunity to do the flat 6 league with revs. Head speed here is actually pretty high. I think we're good on warm-up. Mr. Brussels bringing all the answers today. Oh, there's no formation lap. Why is there no formation lap? Hey, Plex. I think we'll try one more pit entry here. We're gonna do like an installation lap. We're just gonna go out and right back in. Although in an installation lap, you wouldn't go this fast. It depends. It's honestly really tough to find US racing leagues, period. Because there's just so few of them, and most of the ones that there are don't really go off at a time. Like the East Coast ones tend to not go off at a time that works for the West Coast people, and the West Coast ones tend to not go off at a time that works for the East Coast people. So you're already working with a segment, a subset of a subset when you're talking about racing game people, and then you further segment that subset when you're talking about the United States, because you have to split it even further. That's probably a good pit entry there. That's with hot tires. That's not the best. It's not the best representation of a standing start. What I'm going to do is try and keep the tires very cold, and then just go to the end of pit lane and do the same thing. No, even on cold tires, I can still floor it. Alright. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, in terms of racing games, unfortunately your best bet is just to try and find a European group that goes off at a time that works for you. Because again, the vast majority of the United States leagues, one, there's not that many. Two, they're so fragmented and segmented that it's really hard to find one that has more than like 4 people. Now, if you want to just race with 4 people, then sure, that'll probably work for you. But I mean, it's tough to find them in the first place. They're just so hard to find. Oh yeah, if you're curious about RFactor 2, just whether on Steam or on their website themselves, or on the website itself, you can just grab the RFactor 2 demo. The demo does have a couple issues that the regular game doesn't, in terms of getting stuff initially set up. But once you get your wheel set up and working with it, it feels exactly the same. It's just for whatever reason it doesn't. It's really weird. For whatever reason, it just doesn't detect wheels the same way that the game itself does. I think it's just because they haven't updated the version that it puts out through the demo. So the best bet is probably grabbing the demo from Steam, because that's going to be the most reliable version. It should include the Skip Barber, the C6R, and it might just be those 2. No, I think it also includes the Formula Renault 3.5. I know for a fact it's the C6R, and I'm 90% positive it's the Formula Renault 3.5. It actually might just be those 2. And I think it gives you Silverstone to test on. But again, whatever it gives you, I remember it being more than enough to feel out the cars and get a good idea of how the physics felt in RFactor. I almost said race room because I was looking at the word race room. And a race room is also free to try. Well, I mean, it's technically free to play. You get a bunch of stuff for free with it. This will be interesting. I really should have peed beforehand. Oh well, I'm gonna have to be careful with my water too. I've only got like a quarter of a cup. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
Alright, we are on our race setup. Again, the plan for this race, it's an hour and a half, 90-minute race. The plan for the race is to go about 45 and a half to 47 and a half minutes into the race, and then do our pit stop, change tires, and get another 70 liters of fuel, and then go to the end. Now, there is no formation lap for them, so we just go on the green. I let it run a little too wide there. Just wanted to make sure I left room on the inside. Because I thought they were too wide to my left. So I was trying to be extra nice. Oh no. One of the LMPs is off. Got a break earlier. One, because my brakes are cold, but more importantly, because there's a bunch of cars there. Alright, we more or less held our place. Not trying to do anything super crazy these first couple laps. Just really want to feel the car and the competition out. And from practice the other day, I know for a fact that the tires will do... These tires would probably do the whole race distance if I wanted them to. But I know they'll easily do 45 minutes and maintain pretty much the same grip level across that entire time frame. Just a matter of I can be consistent over 45 minutes with them. And if I can keep the rears in line. Oh, that was not good. It's actually really hard for me to feel out that last chicane when I can't see it. With that Aston, with that nice Aston rear in front of me. I definitely could not see it that time through. Such a distractingly pretty taking these first few laps nice and steady, then we can start pushing our brake and acceleration points a little bit as we get into a pace and a rhythm with it. Seems like a really clean start this time so far, though. The other thing I always forget about revs, now that I was thinking about it, is one of the really cool things they offer that I haven't seen anybody else, period, offer, is they actually have those driving lesson things. I don't know how often they do those, but just the sheer fact that they have them is pretty nice for people looking to get into racing on a slightly more realistic or serious note. Survived the first 2 laps. Now, unfortunately, I need to start picking up my pace to avoid falling too far behind, or to avoid falling behind at all. Oh, one of the prototypes is off. I think I hit both of those bollards. At least it sounded like I did. The ones on the inside of that corner get taken out so quickly. Oh, did you see it in the rearview mirror? The ones on the inside of this, actually, I'm surprised there's even one left there. I figured that those 2 would be the first 2 to go.
That lap was a 1:39.01.
I mean, if you found the RFactor 1 demo on Steam, you should be able to find RFactor 2 on there. Just make sure you look for RFactor 2, not RFactor 2 demo. Because the demo is just on the store page itself. So like if you're looking at the RFactor 2 Steam page, on the right hand side, there should just be a button that says download demo or play demo or one of those two. That'll let you grab the demo version instead. Because they're not completely separate pages anymore like they used to be. Yeah, again, I mean, it's one of those things where the Steam used to handle demos by having them be completely different products, but now they've got that button on there on the side. And depending on your familiarity with Steam, it's really easy to miss that button.
That was a 1:38.75.
Hey, that's not bad race pace from me. Yes, that is very, very true. The free content servers in Race Room are a very big mixed bag. Sometimes you'll get a great race out of them, sometimes you won't. But in terms of pickup multiplayer on the non-free content servers in Race Room, it's much, 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 much better. You'll still get a crazy every now and then, but it's ridiculously less frequent. Although realistically for Race Room, primetime multiplayer is German primetime anyway. Outside of that, there's never that many people online. Unfortunately. One of the big things it lacks is just people. Well, to be fair, Brussels, a lot of the people who compared Race Room to Gran Turismo or Forza probably played the old version, which was easily mistaken for that style of physics, because it wasn't very in-depth before, in terms of how the cars felt. So that's probably where a lot of those comments come from. That, or people trying very, very, very old cars that have really old physics. My eyes are already starting to go, unfortunately. Also, unfortunately, the guy ahead seems to really just have pulled out the gap. Seems like I'm mostly fighting with Leon behind me. Although, again, pit strategy could easily play a factor in all of this. And the other thing is I have mediums on, so if some of these guys are using softs, then towards the end of my stint I will have more grip than they will have. Yeah, the ability to try out stuff before you buy it is easily the best in Race Room. Alright, we got some prototypes coming through now.
The lap was a 1:39.91.
For the most part, around a track like this, as a GT car, you're just gonna hold your line and let the prototypes find their way around you. The only place where that's gonna be different is a place like here, where I want the outside, I want them to be on the inside, into the braking zone. So I take a little bit wider. Wow, that was a lot of contact. All right. I did not even see him brake for that. That was almost a huge contact with me in that Aston. Like I said, I didn't even see him. I was concentrating ahead, making sure I had those prototypes cleared correctly. And all of a sudden, the blue Aston, whoop! Jeez. Alright, Brussels. Catch you later, Mr. Info Man. Go and woo the lady a bit. Oh, one of the prototypes already had to pit. Mr. Farmer.
That was a 141.36.
The person behind is another prototype here. Oh, he looked like he was gonna shoot towards the outside and then didn't. That was annoying. I basically lifted a bit instead of taking all of the road. Trying to be nice to my tires in that hairpin, which is why I'm taking it a little bit easier than I probably could be. Wow, Nelson got that far back. He's usually right up front. He just has so much pace. Ooh, that was close to being very bad. That Aston gave him no room.
That was a 139.67.
Well, if the LMPs catch me every 7 to 9 laps, that's not too bad. It's mostly clear running at that point, unless they all get really spread out. It's effectively, the more spread out the prototypes get, the more likely you are to be constantly having to deal with them. Now, he should wait here. Should be able to get around me in one way, shape, or form on the exit here. Couldn't tell if he was going to go for that or not on the Aston, so just left room way too wide for me on exit there. Get anywhere near my braking efficiency I expected. Same thing there. Suddenly feels like it's not stopping for me. Brake temperatures are fine also. So it should be acting exactly the same. Which means I probably just missed my brake point without realizing it. Fortunately, through all of that exchange, he's just opened the gap up. Gap behind has actually gotten closer. Wow, you get that corner right, it feels awesome also. I don't get that right all that often, but when I do, it feels really nice. Same with the exit there. When you get that exit just right, brings you all the way back out to the other side of the track. Well, we're actually still not very far into this race.
That was a 1:39.02.
Completely missed my entry point. That's going to cost quite a bit of time. All four tires still feel mostly good. Considering my right front is more worn than my left front, it means I've been locking up more than I realized. Because not at the end of the world, but not ideal either. Unfortunately, this Aston still keeps pulling away from me, even when I put in decent laps for myself. Oh, somebody's in the
That
pits.
was a 1:39.36.
Race of 39 isn't that great. Nope, that's race over probably. I don't know if I can even get it all the way back around because I'm missing a wheel. Oh, maybe I'm not missing a wheel. Just having an impossible time spotting my entry into turn one. Unfortunately, I don't think people can visually see how much damage I have. Trying to make sure I stay out of people's way. It's gonna be a long pit stop no matter what, that's for sure. I was just not trying to go off track there, just trying to stay out of the way. I had a bad feeling it would happen at some point around here. so much damage on the car. Whoa. So I have a stop and go, and... Wait, is the stop and go 120 seconds? Oh, crap. I think it's going to serve the penalty and not fix the damage. I think I set these in the wrong order. If it gives me a 2-minute penalty and doesn't repair my car, and I have to go back around again, that's going to be really bad. Unfortunately, it's too late to tell it no. It's already serving it. But again, on the bottom left, the fact that it says stop go 120 seconds, and that's it. I think it's going to expect me to have to go around again. Why would that? I feel like once you're over a certain damage threshold, the damage should always be fixed first. Or better yet, why not just let me serve the penalty and then repair the car? We'll see if that actually happens. Unfortunately, the next closest person I'm actually racing with is James there. He's about to come around. Out there. There. It's been quite a while since I've actually ruined my own race like that. Now, will it repair my car? It's not going to. That's a really annoying system. Do I have to do another dangerous lap? Wait, I have another stop and go? I think I have another stop and go penalty still to serve. Like somehow I racked up more than one. On the right side, we'll get repairs this time. I still don't understand why it won't just let you serve the penalty and then get repairs after the penalty. I have a feeling the repairs themselves will probably be 2 to 3 minutes anyway. Trying to stay as offline as I can to make it obvious that my car just isn't working. The funny thing is, judging by the other penalties that CMS guys have levied against people, this might get me penalties. It might just be the... If I get penalties for this, that would be... I mean, and by that I mean penalties for the next race. If I get penalties for this, that would be the last straw, and I just wouldn't race with CMS anymore. But I better fix the damage this time. Yep, almost 3 minutes of damage. Oh, holy cow. I think by the end of this, because I still have at least one more drive-through, or stop and go, I think by the end of this it's going to be pretty well race over. Because again, the only person I'm really racing with at this point is James. and he would have to make a pretty big mistake for it to matter. Because Farmer's in a prototype, so he will get around me sooner rather than later. And then the other two have already quit. Which is why, I mean, realistically, those bottom two, Nichols and Perez, it's one of the things that's so disappointing about when people quit when bad things happen. Because one of the interesting things about endurance racing, and again, I still consider a 90-minute race to be relatively endurance-focused at least, is if both of them had stuck around, they might be picking up spots and we might have our own little type of battle back here at the back. Again, it might not necessarily matter for points, but who cares? If you can have on-track battles that are fun and interesting, that's what can really matter. But when you just flat out leave, then you take away the opportunity for that to even happen. I missed my turn-in point for the first corner and slid through and hit the wall, which is why I got all the damage. And then in doing so, the safest route around Magny Cours, the safest route when you go that is to just stay off track until you're all the way through the first two and a half corner complex and then come back on. Because before that point, everybody's hugging the inside, so if you try and come back on track on the inside corner, you're just going to have somebody slam into you. So in taking that route, in taking the safest route, I just got a bunch of penalties. I didn't know it could give you more than one stop and go, though. I really didn't. Go ahead and set this up for our next stop. Oh, oops, I already turned the car back on. Oh, evidently it wasn't very accurate this time. Like how it really wasn't very accurate this time.
That was a 5:29.59.
You know, it's just a 5-minute lap. At least the car feels right now, which is one good thing. But again, we have to serve our penalty. Now I guess it's just a matter of if I have more than 3 stop and goes, I'm gonna get disqualified. Again, the annoying thing is that it doesn't just add on to the penalties, it actually gives you new ones. Because I would have expected that 2-minute stop and go, the first one I served, to be more than enough. Unless I was speeding in pit lane at one of those points. I guess it's possible. Not very good, Mokaz. The first 11 laps or so were good, and then it all went sideways in a hurry. But unfortunately now, we're not really fighting for anything. But we'll see. I mean, again, there's still... A. James is the next one that we really would be reasonable on the list to fight with if we got back up to him. So that's sort of where we're looking at. Because if he has a mistake of any kind, then that's enough. Oh, this is only a 10-second. How did I get a 2-minute and then a 10-second? Evidently, I still have more penalties, because that still has not gone away.
That was a 2:04.19.
I still have yet more penalties. Oh my word. Okay, so it does reset the laps each time. Again, I don't understand why it doesn't just have me serve all of these at once. Why can't I just sit in the pits for 3 minutes with penalties? Like, it's so weird. On the bright side, my fuel is lasting longer than it should. On the downside, it's because I'm way behind. I mean, I definitely had enough pace to be probably 6th in class. That seems to be where I was evening out to. Again, I don't actually understand how I got this many penalties from that. Another 10-second one, like, why couldn't I just serve those both at the same time? Evidently, I somehow still have another one.
2:01.90.
If I still have one after this next one, I'll probably just exit because this is getting ridiculous. Again, I don't know why it doesn't just give you one big penalty. Especially since I know it can give up to a 2-minute penalty, because that was the first one I got, 120 seconds. So it's more than capable of doing that. Because again, I'm one of the few people that really, I hate to call it quits. And I don't necessarily, I mean, I don't really care if all I'm doing is making laps and there's not really any positions to be gained. I like staying in it till the end anyway, but if I'm going to have to be coming into the pits every single lap, that's actually just bad for everybody around me. So again, if this time we still have a penalty, then we're just gonna call it a day. Because it's just silly at this point. Yep, still another one, so. How did I still, that must be a visual thing. Because I should have had a nose on the car. Well, that's one of the most frustrating things about RFactor so far. I have not ever run into that before. But that's really, really dumb. And I can go back and actually show you guys the incident now, though. That started the whole thing. Where's this on track? Oh, this will be the lap before. What position was I in class? I was behind you, Wu Yan. Oh, I guess I was actually 5th. I guess I was actually 5th in class. I was further up than I thought I was. I thought I was 6th. And again, I definitely would have been able to keep that position. So it should be this next lap. If it isn't, I'll just fast forward. But it should be the intro area on this lap coming up. I didn't think I was that close though, so it might be the lap after. Again, the biggest shame is that the Corvette actually felt really nice to drive. I had a decent setup dialed in for it. Again, not fast enough to be up at the top, but I'm never really that. Yeah, this is the lap. I just missed that turn-in point. And again, as soon as you go off the road here, like it doesn't matter at this point. I'm completely off throttle. I can slam the brakes here all I want. It doesn't matter. You're just immediately into the gravel, which doesn't slow you down at all. What speed was I going when I hit the wall? That looked pretty fast. 140, 130. Looks like I got it down to about 128, and then blam. It actually didn't take my wheel off, which is surprising. But then this is where I got all the penalties from. Because again, in this particular corner, basically you come around this corner, and then from this point on, from that point right there, you basically hug the entire inside. So if I cut over, it's extremely dangerous right there. You hug the inside all the way around here, as you can see with all these cars coming through. And then finally here, you slide out. So that was the safest spot for me to come back out on track. And evidently that gave me infinite 10-second penalties after a 2-minute penalty. Which is quite disappointing. The car was really messed up after that. Just wanted to see the start again real quick. Something happened with the prototypes up front. And I want to see if I actually was too wide. Or 3 wide. Because I left room on the inside because it felt like I was 3 wide. That might not have been. Oh, there was contact there. Okay. So I didn't have to leave as much room as I thought I did. It was really awkward contact with those 2 cars in front of me, though. Like, I don't know why the Porsche is coming over at that point. And I don't know why the Aston didn't just give room. Then I want to see what in the world happens up front. John got a really good start off the line, but then really bogged down. Got a decent run there. Oh, he just got no room repeatedly. Wow. That's a really douchey way to race that first corner. Who was that? Raph. I mean, because you'll see here, they already made a little bit of contact. And then here, he just cuts over. Like, he's still there. Curious what happened to some of these other guys, though. He did 6 laps. That obviously happens on the 6th lap. I mean, this is where I expect a lot of people to get loose and get it wrong. And he gets through there. Where does he lose it? I guess he completed 6 laps, so maybe it's on the 7th. Oh! That's where he lost it. He misses this apex a bit, and then just gets on the other side of that curb, and that curb is real mean. Just can't save it. Also, you can't trust this. I've found out what they're doing with their acceleration and braking is off. Really? And then he just quits after that impact? Wow, that's... Wow, alright. These guys give up so fast. Holy cow. Whatever happens with Nichols happens on this lap. Because he quits at some point through this lap. Like I said, this is where I expect most of the issues to happen. Just loses it. This little tap, that's easy enough to fix. But he just gives up instead. Like, oh, God. It's just so weird to see people give up like that. After something so simple. Oh, his ping was very different to mine, judging by how he's... Whoa! That's some netcode and a half. Holy crap. Did you see how far away that prototype was from him? I mean, look at the gap here. That's like half a car width. Wow. That one I can understand. I can understand him calling it quits. Where's lap 26? What happens with John? Or, sorry, on lap 27 likely. I don't think I've ever seen RFactor 2's netcode be that bad. And he misses his breakpoint a little bit. That was weird. Oh well. Looks like that was an ugly race for lots of people. Oh well. Well, that'll be... That's a disappointing way to end today's race, but it is what it is. We'll see. Again, the racing itself was mostly clean that time from my side of what was happening. So we'll see penalty-wise what happens. If there's still crazy penalties listed in a douchey way, then I'll probably still drop CMS, but for the most part that seemed like it was alright. But we'll see. Either way, that was, like I said, that was very disappointing, but sometimes it happens. I wish I could have stayed in there. I mean, I have at least 2 spots I could have picked up, and considering Anthony James's pace, I might have been able to get at least 1 lap back on him, and then I could have played some strategy with tires and fuel. So it's a shame I didn't get to try that out, but it is what it is. Either way, that'll be it for today. Disappointing, but whatever. Sometimes it happens. Either way, hopefully you guys at least enjoyed some of that. As always, thank you all very much for stopping by. I'll see you guys later.